Power is the ability to influence, control, or direct people, events, or circumstances to achieve desired outcomes. Power itself, in and of itself, is not evil. It is people who are evil. Power and money amplifies what you really are.
This is the book that we're going to have a commentary on.
Between 842 and 867 AD, there lived a young man called Michael III from an empire called the Byzantine Empire. And Michael III was a very young king who had been put on the throne by his uncle, who goes by the name Badas. And he had been put, since he was very young, the mother, who was called Theodora, served as the queen regent and served on behalf of the son, Michael III. So Badas was the head of the army. He was actually the army general in the Byzantine Empire. And he was a very ambitious man. And since he was an ambitious man, his desire, he had desires to rise to the throne and become become the emperor of the Byzantine Empire. But he had never made these intentions clear. So Badas used to protect Michael III because he was very young. He was a very young king in his teenage years. One day, Michael III met a young man in the stables, a peasant by the name Basilius. If you read, they call him Basil. I don't know why, but his real name is Basilius. So Michael loved or liked Basilius. And when they met in the stables, Basilius was a very good wrestler and a very good horseman. And so when they met with Michael, they became close friends. They became almost inseparable. Michael promoted Basilius, gave him a lot of money. Michael was a young man who loved to drink, to sleep, to just lazy around as a king. He was young anyway. So he promoted Basilius as the head of the stables. After that, he promoted him to come to the king's court. And Basilius was a very charismatic guy. He was a very likable individual. And so they grew fond of each other and they became close to inseparable as friends. Michael was a spendthrift, and he used to plunder the kingdom's money or the kingdom's finances. And some of these finances went to promoting or funneling Basilius' life. Like Michael, Basilius was also a very extravagant and a lavish person who loved women, loved to party, loved to drink. And so they continued. As Basilius was close to Michael, he realized that Michael had a very loyal soldier and general in the name Badas was his uncle. And Badas was protecting Michael because of the interest. And you know, in the king's court, there is a lot of interest and many people want to rise to power. And so Basilius grew very jealous of this relationship. And he decided to come up with a plan to get rid of Badas, who was the one protecting Michael. So he started slowly poisoning Michael III, the king, against Basilius, and telling him that this guy, his uncle, is very ambitious and he wants the throne. And so he continued poisoning Michael until one day Michael fell for his charms and his deceit, and he decided to kill his uncle, who was his general. And so, without anyone to stop him, Michael promoted Basilius as the head of the army and the head of the king's court. So Basilius was a very powerful man. He was more powerful than the Senate. He was the commander of the army. He had everything going for him with a lot of money. One day the kingdom had a problem, financial problem, and Michael went to Basilius to request him or to ask him as a friend to pay back some of the money that he had given to him to use. In utter disgust, Basilius looked at Michael and laughed. When Michael saw the face of Basilius, he realized the mistake that he had made. He realized that this guy was out for him. And before all was said and done, the soldiers had come into the king's court. They stabbed Michael and killed him. And what Basilius did is he cut the head of Michael, put it on a spike, and went around Byzantine announcing himself as the emperor. And that is how Michael became, or that is how Basilius became the emperor of the Byzantine Empire. Yes.
Hey! When you're telling that story, when you're narrating it,
Yes.
I could not liken it with Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Especially where they are chopping heads and putting them on spikes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, once again, it is us, Red Pill Conversations. We are here to discuss the 48 laws of power. We're going to talk about influence, strategy, all of that. But this is what we are going to reference to. We are doing it with a different way, in a different twist, where we are going to discuss the examples given on the book. We are going to give biblical perspectives and also African leaders who have either fallen short or followed this particular rule. So today is Law 2. And the book is, not the book. And it says, be wary of friends. So Law 2 is never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. They also become spoiled and tyrannical. But hire a former enemy and he will be more loyal than a friend because he has more to prove. In fact, if you have more to fear from friends than from enemies, you have more to fear from friends than from enemies. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them. Sasa hiyo ni kutuambia nini? So what are you telling us? If you have no enemies, find a way to make them.
Yes.
That's an interesting story.
Yes.
That is a very interesting story. People are I remember last week we were talking about Law 1, and you can see how people are hungry for power when you're talking about Absalom betraying his own father. Yo, this is the same thing. Power.
Yes.
Power makes people hungry. And you actually said, if you do not want power, jichunguze.
Yes.
And you can see how people are going above and beyond to get this power, even killing.
Yes.
You see Michael, Basilius, lakini wanamuita Basilius. Basil, umeokolewa kutoka kwa streets. Umeoshwa na king ama emperor amekusafisha. Alafu unamdunga kisu. Unakata kichwa, unaiweka kwa spike. Isn't that so evil?
Kwani who can stab you in the back other than someone who's close to you?
But let me tell you. This, unajua tunasikianga hii rule, and it's so cliche when people say put your friends close but your enemies closer.
Yeah.
In a sounding is so cliche until the person who is closest to you or your best friend is the one to stab you, and they know how to stab you.
Very well.
Someone who is your friend, they will stab you, and you will not see it coming because you'll be like, you will dismiss it. Like, yeah, they are loyal to me. They're my friends. We've known each other for 75 years. Oh my God, that's my best friend. And then they stab you in the back. And this is Basil and Michael III is a clear story of people who will stab you in the back just to get what they want, and they'll not care about your feelings. Aya, tuongelele sasa lessons to learn from. Before I know we have the examples of Akina Caesar and the someone from the Bible.
Ahithophel.
Uyo. We will talk about that one too. So let's talk about Basil. And Basil, is this a rule that you follow? Is this a law that
I would say yes. Not entirely to the place of making enemies, because I don't like going around creating
Making
enemies.
enemies is just...
Yes, I naturally make enemies.
You know.
Just by naturally
Your
being
aura.
myself. Just by naturally being myself. There is a general who said he made a prayer in public, a public prayer. And he said, Lord, protect me from my friends, because I can deal with my enemies.
Aha. That's a public prayer.
That's a public prayer. And his prayer was, the protection that he needs
It's from friends.
is from friends. Because with enemies, he will be able to take care of them. Let me read you something from the book, which is very, very important to start us off in this conversation. This is what Robert Greene says when he talks about friends. Let me get the part where he talks about this. Talks about the Han Dynasty.
The hand.
Han. It was a Chinese
Han.
dynasties. Yes, yes. Let me look for it. Okay, I will look for it. I'll find it.
Okay.
Let's just continue. Friends can become entitled, envious, or betray you when personal interests change. Let me tell you, the people who can stab you in the back, at the back, or in the back, the worst
Are your friends.
are your friends. Because proximity, the closer you bring someone, the easier you make it for them to kill you or to stab you in the back. Because friends often wear a mask. When I am your friend Tracy, and I'm telling you, friends are never genuine when they are doing things towards you. Because friends wear a mask. And I'm trying to look at it from this particular... Robert Greene puts it very, very candidly, which I think it is important to read. Let me see. I can't find it, and I could find it.
Is it highlighted?
Yes, it is highlighted. Good. He says, the problem is that you often do not know your friends as well as you imagine.
As well as you imagine.
You often do not know your friends as well as you imagine. Why does he say this? Friends often agree on things in order to avoid an argument. You can be the worst singer. You can be the worst singer. But I am telling you, if you go to your girls, they will tell you girl power.
It does not have to be girls.
No, because girls like girl power.
We're the ones who are
you like those motivating,
Go, babe.
positivity. You can be so bad at what you do, but your friends will mask it, and they will lie to you. They will never be truthful and honest to you. As a matter of fact, listen to what he says. Friends often agree on things in order to avoid an argument. They cover up their unpleasant qualities so as not to offend each other. They cover their unpleasant qualities so as not to offend you.
Isn't that so true?
It is very, very true.
Isn't that so real?
I told you, when it comes to mask, we are to power, we are in a theater. We are playing games. It is games. Everyone is wearing a mask. It is a games. Ni mchezo wa kuigiza. Mpenzi mtazamaji, wacha maneno ya kuleta seriousness kwa vitu za friendship. So he continues and says, they laugh extra hard at each other's jokes.
Oh no.
They laugh extra hard at each other's jokes, since honesty rarely strengthens friendship. Do you know that?
True.
Honesty rarely strengthens
Ukikuwa tu
friendship.
mse wa kusema maukweli ni
If you start speaking honestly to your friends, you will lose them.
Yeah.
So this is what he says. You may never know how a friend truly feels. You may never know how a friend truly feels. Friends will say that they love you. They love your poetry, adore your music, love your singing, envy your taste in clothes. Maybe they mean it. Often they do not.
Maybe they mean it.
Maybe they mean it. Often they do not. Can you tell me a scenario where you have ever told your friend, or you've ever told your friend the truth when they are really bad at what they are doing? Have you ever had a friend who is really bad at what they are doing?
A friend?
They are really bad at what they are doing. They are not good. Let's use an example. They are singers, or they sing, and they are really bad. They actually are better off quiet. Have you ever told them?
No,
In your entire life?
never. But I've told someone who is not my friend.
Yes, exactly.
'Cause when my friend, I'm scared I'll hurt you. And then maybe this is something that you really think that you want to do for a living. I want to become an artist. I want to become the next, I do not know who. Like, siwezi kushow. But I don't have many friends who do not know how to sing.
So
But
is it true that friends often wear masks?
We do wear masks.
Yes.
And then you see with girls, the best example is dressing.
Yeah.
Labda umevaa nguo fulani alafu umekuja
Na inakaa mbadala.
Inakaa tu vingine unashindwa Jesus. Ulitoa hii nguo wapi? Because it is not, when you talk about fashion, this is not it. And I think I've seen a friend who has was not looking very good in a certain dressing that she had worn, and I didn't tell her. I was just like, she feels like she knows she looks good, so I can't be the one to burst her bubble. I cannot. I was just like, alimzani nakaje, nililenga story, sikusema, nililenga tu juu sasa mi siku hurt feelings. Alafu useme sasa Tracy, unitakiangi mazuri.
Hukumwambia you have a nice hairstyle.
Nice shoes by the way. Cha muhimu ni umevaa nguo. Cha muhimu is you have worn clothes. No, I did not. By the way, I did not mention that she did not look good. Just because I didn't want to hurt her. Or even maybe end our friendship. Because maukweli umaliza urafiki.
Yes, honesty generally does not sustain friendship.
True.
And that is the reality. So, is Robert Greene right in saying that friends often tell you the truth? Rarely tell you the truth.
True, he is very right.
And you see, the problem is, like for example, the case of Michael III. Michael III was better off with his uncle, Badas.
Yeah.
Because his uncle, though he also had ambition, his uncle had ambition to become emperor. But he protected Michael with his life because he knew that he can be able to manipulate a young boy. You know, he's an army general.
Yeah.
He's fought the fights, he's won wars on behalf of the Byzantine Empire. Since it is a monarchy, Michael was supposed to take this throne when he was young. And he knew that he could manipulate him. But he was safe with him, or he was actually happy with Michael on the throne.
Yeah.
Basilius, on the other hand, came from nothing. He was a peasant. From the stables down there, and he was promoted to the throne.
Imagine.
He grew in ambition. And this is what we have to understand. Friends can become entitled, and they often become entitled. Friendship brings about a lot of entitlement. They can become entitled, and that entitlement breeds envy, or gives rise to envy. And especially if you're shining brighter than them, they become envious. They laugh at your jokes louder than
They laugh at
normal.
your jokes loudest.
They tell you sweet things that you like to hear. And many people prefer to have such people around them,
Yeah.
who will never tell you the truth.
They've cushioned you.
Yes, that is the problem that presidents and leaders get. They always are surrounded by people who are their friends, who never tell them the truth. That's why many times in so many governments, you always ask yourself, does this president have advisors? The answer is yes. Problem is, he chose his friends.
Yeah.
And when you choose your friends as your advisor, you might trust in their counsel. You might say that they fought with you. You might
They've
say
been there with me.
they have been with you through thick and
through
thin.
waves.
I want to burst your bubble and tell you there is nothing. There is it is very rare to find genuine friendship. It is very rare. In fact, even the Bible says, cursed is the man who puts his hope in another man. cast anathema. Imagine. Because they may grow envious or betray you when their personal interests change, especially when power is involved. When it is an issue of power and positions, the worst person to put closest to you is a friend. I try to maintain a lot of distance with the friends who become my superiors. I actually, by virtue, if you are my friend and you became my boss, our friendship is strained. Because I know that us being close will breed a lot of envy, entitlement. Sometimes I would expect you to sign off on things that you would not necessarily sign off because I'm your friend. Again, you would agree to some things that I ask of you. Why? Because you are friends, not because they are objective, not because they are mature or wise, just because we are friends. Friendship in the corridors of power and in working relationship is very dangerous. This law teaches us not to rely blindly on personal friendship. I have learned that the hard way. I have learned, I have been stabbed in the back hadi akazungusha kisu. Inazungushwa hivi. Alafu anakuuliza unasikia aje?
Oh no.
It has happened.
Yeah.
Because I have trusted the people closest to me. I know that and what has happened is sometimes this is how I measure friendship. Always measure friendship with the amount of truth you receive from the friend. Your true friend is a person who tells you the most truth. Regardless of how brutal that truth is, regardless of how unpopular that truth is. We love to be pampered.
True.
We love to be praised. Oh, you're a good person. And Basilius was a very charming man. By the way, if you study about Basilius, he was a very charming guy. He would win friends wherever he went. Michael was literally no homo, in love with him.
He wanted to be so close.
He was very close to Michael, and they were almost inseparable. As a matter of fact, even the story itself cannot actually express how close these guys were. Have you ever had this friend that ukimuona unajua huyu mwingine
ako karibu,
ako in close proximity,
somewhere in the vicinity? True.
ako huko. And the best of friends becomes the worst of enemies. They become the worst of enemies because friends will betray you. I'm telling you, I have had friends who've used the things I've told them personally against me.
No.
Yes.
And that's the worst part. They will use what you told them.
Yes, against you.
In secret.
Let's give an example of who leaked the audios of Asian.
Her friend.
Do you think the enemies had anything to do with it?
No.
Unless they are NIS.
Nasi Nairobi Gossip Club.
Hata kama Nairobi Gossip Club. Who gives them that tea? What we call tea. Who gives them that tea? It is never random. Who betrays? When you see someone is betrayed, it is never random. I am telling you, your enemies are not close enough to you to be able to betray you. As a matter of fact, you should be more afraid of your friends than you are of your enemies. You should be more afraid of friends than you are of enemies. Because enemies, you know how to deal with them. And hence this prayer from this general. Protect me from my friends. Because you don't see.
Yeah.
They are close to you. They know you. You will never see it coming. I am telling you, when Michael asked for money from Basilius, the smirk on his face, the laugh. Yes. Like he realized, without even being told, he realized that he had messed up. He actually realized that at this point, I have seriously messed up. Yes.
And Pasi sasa nimesikia ukisema akiiji na Pasi imerudi tu. Umesema dealing with your enemies. How do I deal with my enemies? Because enemies, I'm not even close to you, so am I supposed to keep you closer? And I do not
with
know.
Enemies, you leverage them. I won't tell you how to deal with your enemies. The best way to neutralize an enemy is to convert them into a friend or to put them under your service. To put them under your service. An enemy, if you are my enemy and I bring you close to me, let's say in a working relationship, do you know you will move the world to prove to me how loyal you are? You will move the world to prove your loyalty to me. You will do everything. And you will be genuinely loyal. And especially friendships born out of interests. Let's say, for example, we are competitors with you in any business setup. If I bring you into my service, you will be loyal.
Yeah.
Our president has nothing to fear from Right Honorable. At this moment,
America, his
now,
enemy closer.
Yes,
Closest.
that is the best way to neutralize an enemy. You bring them into your service. There are people who hate having enemies. Oh, every day they address imaginary haters.
Yeah.
My haters everywhere. Haters here, haters there, haters everywhere.
Ati kuna watu nasikia wakisema ni nani?
Yes.
Hakuna mtu anasema relax.
Hakuna mtu anakuongea.
Hakuna mtu anakuongelea.
No, people don't care about you as much as you think they do.
Yeah, you're not that important.
People don't care about you as much as you think they do. So, enemies, bring them into your service. An enemy, Robert Greene says, an enemy spared the guillotine.
Guillotine ile ya kukata.
Yes, ile ya kukata shingo. Will move the world to show you how loyal they are. But a friend who becomes and a friend who is close to you, they get to a point and they think that they have earned their position.
Friends.
Especially if you elevate them. Look at what Basilius did.
Yeah.
As Michael was elevating him, as Michael was making him a great king, a great person, as Michael was putting him under his service, Basilius was growing more in his disgust for Michael the king.
Yeah.
He actually got to a point where he feels or he felt or he believed that he's in the position he is in because of his strategy, because of it. They don't
friendship.
No, they don't remember the service. Even in relationships, you see, when people start going there and telling you, after all this I have done for you, jokes on you. Continue doing.
Yeah.
Because they get to a point and what you have done for them becomes obscure. It becomes like you have not done anything. It's like I've risen with you. It's not your effort. It's not you who pulled me.
No.
It's my skills. Yes, and I rose. And the more they rise, the more they see you as a threat. The more they see you as a hindrance to their yes.
And then they know your weaknesses, like Basil.
Yes, they know everything about you.
So alikuwa najua, I am better than this one in this.
Exactly. They know everything about you. They know how to deal with you. They know exactly how to deal with you. And let me tell you, if there are people who are ruthless at dealing with you, are people we call friends.
Do you agree with the statement that he has said, Apo, if you do not have enemies, make them?
I would not do that. I don't agree with it because for me, maybe my interpretation is wrong, but I would interpret it as going to look for trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. That's how I'm interpreting it.
I don't like looking for trouble. I like when trouble finds me. Huh?
You like it.
when it finds me, you could be in the house just chilling. And you hear a knock on the door. Knock. You open the door. Who's there? Trouble. Then you are like, come on in. What are you going to take today? When it finds you, it's inevitable.
It's okay when it finds you. Don't go looking for it.
Don't look for it. It will find you. If you want trouble to find you, just improve yourself. Go on a journey of self-improvement. Trouble will find you. It has a way of finding you. It will look for you.
Yeah.
Don't look for it. And when it finds you, you know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
When you expect it to come. Yeah.
Okay. Now we've heard of Basilius and Michael. Let's talk about Caesar. Kaisari, Julius Caesar, and
Before we go to,
Okay.
there is a statement here. Friendship creates expectations, but enemies who align with you for strategic reasons will often be more reliable. Friendship creates expectations, and the people who can bring you,
that is so true. I expect
creates,
my friend to.
I expect my friend to stand up for me.
Like
Do
right
you know someone has ever actually blamed me for not defending them in some forum? Some fora. Mbona huku ni defend?
Silas.
Silas. Mbona huku ni defend?
Are you talking about the person
No. It's not.
Okay.
I told you
Okay,
trouble just finds me
right.
in the corridors of this world. But you see, it creates expectations.
Yeah.
Like for example, you would expect, and it's not an evil expectation. I'm not talking about the evil aspect. I have that expectation of my friends.
Yeah.
Because if someone is talking ill about you, let's say you've gone and sat somewhere na mmeanza kupiga story and you're the subject of conversation and your friend is there, you would expect that they defend you.
Yeah, because you're my friend.
Because you're my friend.
And I'd assume that your loyalty is to me.
Let me burst your bubble. They are the guys who changia the
Watachangia.
most. Wanakujua vizuri. You have opened yourself.
They'll serve motive.
Yes. I am telling you. Do you know how to know people talk about you?
No.
Let me give you the most accurate way to know that people talk about you. They come to tell you about other people. That is the surest way to know that people talk about you.
Nikileta motion ya mtu mwingine.
Ukiletewa chai. Hata huyu anapelekewa yako. I can guarantee you with no fear of contradiction. The person who always comes to you to tell you about other people, goes to other people to tell them about you.
Yeah. Because why would they be telling me about others?
So you're better off having even an enemy as a strategic partner.
An enemy won't know you.
Doesn't know you. And as a matter of fact, their goal, unless it is a goal to finish you, which you will know. You'll know very easily with an enemy than a friend. If they are out to finish you. An enemy will, if it is strategic. I have learned the hard way. My friendships are business friendships.
Only.
I stopped. Let's hang and chill. We go to coffee, and the question is, how am I benefiting from you, and how are you benefiting from me?
That's it.
Can we sit down and discuss how we are going to improve our lives? So we sit down. I don't give time to sitting and gossiping. I hate it because I know the gossiper gossips about me.
The gossiper.
Yes, the gossiper gossips about me. So what I do, I make sure that my friendships are strategic. All my friends, we do one thing or the other together. Nice. The person people call my best friend, the person people say, this is his best friend. We are in business. We have several businesses together.
Nice.
When we sit down and take a cup of coffee,
it's biashara.
We talk about biashara, profits, loss, the
how to improve
asset
the
column,
business, or the assets,
the liabilities.
Yeah.
We talk about those things. I live a very lonely life. No, not lonely. Alone. There is a difference between loneliness and aloneness.
Yeah.
So loneliness has the assumption that you're missing something. The assumption with loneliness is that something is lacking. I am missing someone to complete. It has a sense of incompleteness.
Yeah.
Aloneness is someone who is comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah. And in his state of being alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I go to work. I go home. I go to my small room. I sit there and feel my thoughts the whole day.
Yeah.
And I have had a blast. If you ask me,
you're okay.
I've had a blast.
You've just had fun.
Yes, I have had
in
fun.
Your own thoughts.
As a matter of fact, sometimes I'm not saying this. I'm a very extroverted person, but nowadays the noise of too much conversation.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot. It's in an isumbua. It's too much.
Like why are we talking?
Like I would sit down. I would sit down and we would talk with people. And 30 minutes, 1 hour max, I want to go. I just want to leave. I just want to leave and retire in my small chamber in like a small
And
corner.
re-energize.
And re-energize and have a blast.
And have a blast while at it. Someone will confuse you for an introvert.
Yeah,
Someone
no,
will
I'm not.
actually
I am
say-
an extreme extrovert.
Of course.
Extreme.
Don't we know? Don't
like
we know
extreme.
it?
Yangu ni ile mpaka nadunga ngona vitu.
Don't
Si utoke tu.
So utafute form. Okay.
Yes.
Now we can go to Julius Caesar and Brutus.
Yes.
Okay.
The story of Julius Caesar.
Kaisari.
From my Kaisari ule mwenyewe. Ule mwenye tunampa ilio ya.
Mpeli Kaisari.
Huyo ndio Caesar. Huyo ndio Kaisari genuine.
Yeah.
Kaisari legit.
The first.
He went through one of the worst betrayals in the history of betrayals. Caesar had made a lot of exploits. Caesar was almost a god.
Eh.
He was revered and worshipped
Where is
like
he
a
from?
god. Rome, my favorite empire. Rome. And Caesar had done many exploits. Then, in Rome, Caesar was the emperor, and then there was a senate. The senate is very powerful, just like in the US. Kenya has tried to make the senate powerful, but
They are more reasonable than the other parliament.
but when it comes to power, the parliament has more.
Yeah.
Now in the States and in the Roman Empire, their parliament was the Senate was more powerful. It was more powerful. So Caesar was the emperor, and he had made so much exploits that he desired to be a king. He actually desired to convert Rome into a kingdom and rule. So there is a guy, a young man, and this is what Caesar did.
Yeah.
Caesar, like any normal man, fell in love with Brutus's mother. Yes. Walikuwa na kiodo relationship. Walikuwa na
I am
relationship.
flabbered.
Yes. They had a relationship with Brutus's mother. They
And
were
Brutus
lovers.
knew.
Brutus knew. And actually that's how Brutus came to the Senate. He was actually initially not in the Senate. So through the mother was the
Connections.
lover, connections. Brutus
Knowing
akaanza
people.
kupanda the ladder.
So this is
hii
the
dunia,
son in-
hii dunia ni
Oh,
mbaya.
God.
I'm telling you this world. Hawezi cheza na hii dunia. Don't joke with
Stepson.
this world.
Alikuwa
Yes, he was like his
anajaribu-
stepson.
Yeah, alikuwa anajaribu ku get into the good side of Brutus's mother.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
God.
since Brutus was almost as like a son to Caesar, they became very close. I think Brutus knew that Caesar was dating the mother. They became very close. Just like Michael and Basilius, almost inseparable. This guy was a confidant, an
To
advisor.
Caesar.
Yes, a guy who would push Caesar's agenda in the
Senate.
in the Senate and all
Yeah.
that, which was very important. One day, to test the water, I tell you how governments do, what governments do. So Caesar wants to become a king. So in the process of wanting to become a king, he looks for a kajama to come and crown him like a king. And you test the waters. This is how there is something called test the waters. Don't believe everything you see. I told you, ukiona kamera hivi ni kipindi. It's a program.
Yeah.
If you see the cameras, it's a program.
Yeah.
Who wants to film their life
No.
like that?
No.
Hata kama umemwambia nipige kasi
Kama siangali.
So,
yeah.
one day in the Senate meeting, a young man comes, I think it was a senator, with a crown, and goes and kneels before Caesar to crown him as king. There was a lot of murmuring because that Senate had like 900 guys. There was a lot of murmuring, so Caesar rejected it.
Oh, nile tu mi hata sitaki.
Sitaki, usinipatie, hata sijisikii. That was the issue. But Caesar was testing the waters. 60 senators were very annoyed with him because
60 out of 900.
Yes, were very annoyed. Caesar was very popular, by the way, in Rome with the citizens.
Yeah.
He was very popular. His policies and all those. He was a good
He was a good leader.
a good leader in quotes.
Oh.
So 60 of them became very angry with him. So they decided to conspire to kill him. Yes. Rome, many emperors died by the sword. Ni kudungwa tu, waliuliwa, kuchinjwa. Being an emperor was, even in China, being an emperor was a death sentence. You knew
It
you
wasn't
would
a
die.
desired.
Because you are surrounded by hungry wolves. Do you think the people who surround you love you? I'm asking you, do you think they do?
I hope they do.
You hope they do.
Yeah.
Continue hoping. But when
Niendelee na matumaini.
when push comes to shove, they choose themselves.
Yeah.
When push comes to shove, the only person who would choose you in this entire world is your mother.
My mother.
I'm not even talking about father. I'm not even talking about father.
Yeah.
Is your mother. That's the only person who will love you regardless. So they started conspiring. And they came up with 3 ways of killing him. One, they wanted to stab him when he is giving a speech in the Senate.
In the Senate?
In the Senate, yes. Because in the Senate, when you come into the Senate, there were no soldiers allowed inside. Ukiingia ndani, no weapons, no soldiers. In fact, if you were found with a weapon in the Senate, you were sentenced to death.
Okay.
It was a sacred place where policies were made. So it was the best place to kill him. The second one, they wanted to run him over a bridge so that he falls into the sea. And then there were assassins who would come and kill him. Because you see, falling into the water, you can survive.
Yeah.
And you know, this is a general.
Yeah.
This is a fighter.
Yeah.
This is a guy who knows how to survive.
Yeah.
And the third one was to bring gladiators. By the way, whatever you watch in Gladiators is exactly what was happening. It's not fiction. It's exactly those gladiator wars is exactly what was happening in Rome. So Brutus was one of those people.
One of the 60?
Yes, conspirators. In fact, they relied on him a lot because he was the eyes and the ears of the empire.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
They organized and organized and organized and organized. They were supposed to kill him on the 18th of March, whichever year ukisoma utaona. Funny bit, Caesar's wife.
Brutus's mother.
She was a concubine.
Oh.
She was a concubine.
Oh, alikuwa
a man like Caesar was a man of many women. He was a Kyoto Solomon.
Trying to beat him.
Yes, he was a Solomon. So, this lady dreams.
Wife.
Yes.
Caesar.
The wife dreams, and in her dream, she is holding Caesar in a pool of blood. She comes to Caesar and tells him the dream. Oh, Caesar, kuna hivi. And you know, Romans, they didn't like superstitions.
Yeah.
So they took it as this
joke.
is just a superstition. So now, he was supposed to die on the 18th. He announced to the Senate that he was going to travel on the 15th. So the Senate with Brutus and all those people, they reconvened and decided to move their schedule up
to
15th and kill him on the 15th. So on his way to the Senate, on that 15th, Caesar was drunk. Alikuwa na hangover that morning. He had drunk the previous night a lot. And he decided to call, I think he called Brutus and tell him, go and tell the Senate I'm not coming for the meeting. Let's postpone the meeting. And that is the day he was supposed to die. So Brutus went, and then when he comes back, I might have gotten Brutus and another person wrong, but when this guy comes back, he finds Caesar, he goes to the Senate, and then they tell him, you must convince Caesar to come to the Senate today. We are finishing him. So he comes to the Senate and tells them, those guys feel offended that you're not coming. There were some policy issues that Caesar was to address. So Caesar reluctantly decides to go to the Senate. On his way, as he was going with his soldiers, guys used to pass him messages with mapepa. One of the guys heard of the conspiracy to kill him. Akadecide kukimbia ampatie karatasi so that he can warn him.
Yeah.
So he gave the paper to Caesar. Caesar took the paper and put it in his cloak.
Hakuisoma.
And I'm telling you, history is very interesting. Put it in his clock and proceeded to go. As he was continuing to go, as he continued to go in the, what do you call it? When he got to the court, he was still hungovered. So he didn't get into the court immediately. Some guy comes to talk to him. Kando, namuita kando. You see the way you pull a leader kando? Akina Brutus are shaking up. Or they even want to kill themselves. They want to kill themselves because
It's not going as
maybe
planned.
umse anaenda kuambia Caesar that we are about to kill him. But Caesar gets into the court, and when he gets into the court and sits on there is a throne that was put there.
For
Remember,
him?
he wanted to become a king.
Yeah.
Somebody comes behind him, pulls his clock. The stabbing begins. In fact, that person who pulls his clock had his brother arrested, and he wanted Caesar to release his brother. So he tells him, Caesar, release my brother. Caesar says no. So he comes behind him, takes a sword, akaenda kumdunga, but akamdunga kwa shoulder. So they started fighting. This guy calls, brother, come and help me.
Brother knows Brutus.
These other guys.
The other
Yes.
members of the Senate.
And they were like 300 there. You see, 300 people were seated there, but 60 are in the conspiracy.
Yeah.
So they came and started stabbing him.
The 60.
No, they were like 5.
Yeah.
He was stabbed 23 times. Before he died, Brutus came. He was the one who was the last person Caesar spoke to. This is the words he used. Caesar's famous last words were, "Et tu, Brute. You too, Brutus." That was his last words.
No.
And Brutus
Akamstab
na akakufa. Flattery is a sin because flattery involves exaggeration.
Oh.
To flatter you is to exaggerate some qualities that I'm giving to you. Otherwise, I would just say the truth. You are an honest person. You are extremely. You're the honest person I've ever met. No, you're lying.
You're the most honest.
Honest person. No. And friends often shower you with all those things. You go, girl.
Yeah.
Hey.
Girl power.
Girl power. Sisi men unajua tunadanganyana tu hivyo. Just tell people. Hiyo ni kali. Yeah. Flattery is an exaggeration. It is not founded in truth. I'd rather someone just tells you the truth.
Yeah.
If you cannot sing,
Tell me.
I find ways to tell you. Because you see, the same people who tell you that you're good at what you do, laugh at you when you are doing it.
That
And
is
they
so
laugh
true.
at you with others.
And
Hebu
they will laugh
muangalie.
loud. You're making a fool out of yourself.
You're making a true friend will never let you make a fool out of yourself.
But kuna kitu umesema, yeah, they tell them the brutal truth, and I read somewhere that the truth doesn't have to be brutal.
Yes.
I can come and sit you down. I'll not tell you, by the way, you're a bad singer. I
Yeah.
can just tell you, cheki. Kuna venye sauti yako haitoi nyoka pangoni, inarudisha.
Ni mbadala.
It is just bad. So don't do it. The truth doesn't have to be brutal.
Yes, the truth doesn't have to be brutal.
Yeah. But
And,
it has to be said.
Yes, I agree. And actually, the truth costs friendships.
Lakini unajua watu wazima
costs.
kama watu wazima ukiambia ukweli na unajam.
Yeah, many times the truth costs a friendship.
Yeah.
Because people don't like to hear the truth. I'm telling you, people are not interested in the truth. Sahi tuanzishe tu ka scandal kako. Nobody cares about the truth. I see people overly trying to explain themselves,
Yeah.
to try to tell people it is don't.
It's not like that.
Unless you're in a court of law.
You
Shut
owe no
up.
one an explanation.
Keep quiet. Keep quiet. Because people, when you are a case study, people are not interested in the truth. People are interested in something that is sweet. OMG, you will not believe what she did. You will not believe what she did.
The group chat.
Yes. Number 5 will shock you. That is what people like.
Oh, yeah.
To be very honest, I like saying this when I'm joking. what songs do come out or emerge as hit songs?
Zile za
Sex,
yeah,
drugs,
si za kilimo.
sex, drugs, what
Women.
else? Women. Nini ingine?
That's it. Alcohol. Yeah.
Stealing. Those are the things that make hit songs. Today try to sing about farming. Ati
Ukulima
manufaa ya ukulima bora. Na umekelea hip hop hapo ukulima bora. Utasikiza hiyo peke yako. Even
wewe na producer wako.
Wewe na producer, hata producer atasikiza. Atakuproducea tu. Producer will just produce that music.
And that's it.
And by the way, by the time you are out of that studio is like good riddance. Huyu aende ana talent. Ana talent.
It remind me of when Steve Simple Boy sang about mihadarati and everyone was like, sasa huyu alienda studio kufanya nini? Ali hit not because of the song, but because of other reasons. Ali hit because of other reasons, but everyone was like, what song is this? What is this?
Ati vijana tuache mihadarati.
Unatuambia tuache mihadarati.
Hebu imagine angesema vijana tuongeze mihadarati.
Watu
wangekuwa kwa stage tuongeze.
Kuna wimbo inaambiaga watu washa. Washa. Anyway.
Nile kishash kwa bash.
Iyo. That song vumad. Lakini ya Steve ilivuma because of other things.
When was the last time you heard a song that is actually, other than a love song? Yes, that is actually educative.
Cocomelon too.
Even the constitution. Si tuimbe juu ya BBI, tuimbe juu ya the finance bill. To educate watu. Try that and see. Utahit kwa hiyo studio.
One hit wonder.
Na ni hit ya beats. Ni hit ya beats. Ukishamalizana na hiyo beats. 3 minutes.
Nakwambia upcoming artists wanakula 2 strays hapa na Silas leo.
No.
Ameamua leo ni kuthrow blows.
Kuna wengine ni upcoming for 15 years away. You should learn.
Silas.
You should learn now. Wacha kuwa upcoming sasa.
Achana na hiyo career.
Achana hiyo.
Imekataa. Imekataa
hata mimi kufanya business. When I do business I give it some time. At least 6 months to 1 year.
But 15 years and you're still upcoming.
15 years and you're upcoming.
That's a whole teenager.
No, but I'm sorry to say that because I'm not a singer. I don't know the challenges.
Silas ananga in musical whatever in him.
By the way, I have a very bad voice. If I start singing. If I start singing.
Na tuseme kudance pia.
No.
Na tuseme kudance pia lakini
ndio maana tuko na our soul's delight.
I'm telling you the truth. Hujui kudance.
Yes. I
being a good friend.
I was born with 2 left feet. Actually lefter than the whites. Because at least they move. Mi tunaanza simama hapo na unaimba ndakuwa nimesimama ile shule simama tisti.
You will do nothing.
Yeah. In church guys.
Acha kichwa kushake hivi.
In church guys I've often felt I've had guys ask me, "Kwani am I boring ama
really?
Didn't you like the song?" I tell them it has nothing to do with you.
It's nothing.
It's everything to do with Silas. He just doesn't.
It's not a you problem.
Yes, and it's not something that came even when kitambo when we used to go to clubs and all that.
Yeah.
I would go and sit down. I would go and sit down.
Anyway, yako ni.
And have a blast. Like imagine I go for swimming and I just sit hapo kando na ka coffee and I just watch people swim and I feel nice. Even sometimes when I go to the beach in coast. Just sit.
Wewe ni wa kuketi.
Nasikia tu hiyo upepo.
Urudi kwa nyumba like wow nilika coast.
Yes, like if you are a guy who is bubbly and jumpy, you'd find me very boring. Yeah. You find me very boring.
It's not a you problem, it's a Silas problem.
That's a me problem. I have accepted myself. First way of changing is acceptance. Nani may accept that
you do not.
It's not an area I want to explore.
He's not seeking help. He's not seeking help.
I'm not.
Do we talk about the King David and jina inani?
Ahithophel.
Uyo. Do we talk about him or do we talk about Thomas Sankara first?
We can. Which one would you prefer? Let's talk about David and or let's talk. We talk about Sankara.
Yeah, let's talk about Sankara.
Sankara.
He has a very interesting.
I'm telling you, why we are choosing African leaders. Africa is a very interesting continent.
Yeah.
we are so used to reading about Europe, the Americas, and all that.
We forget about our own.
We have our own history, which is very rich.
And very
Very rich.
Yeah.
I am telling you, when I was watching the documentary and reading about Thomas Sankara, I was actually very mad. The sad bit about we Africans, we are our own worst enemies.
True.
We are our own worst enemies. We complain about bad governance, but when time for election comes, I don't know if
electing.
we are hypnotized.
Na 200.
We become something else.
Yeah.
Then I start noticing that kumbe you are Wanjiro, kumbe you are Kamau.
Oh no. Yeah.
That's when I start noticing that. Right now, as we are suffering
We are
with
leaderless.
taxation and affordable housing, affordable
Ashashe shishoshu.
anashisha na shishoshu.
And the assistant.
As we are struggling with those things, guys are united
we are
in grief.
leaderless.
We are leaderless,
Tribeless.
tribeless. I'm telling you, in 2027 is when you start realizing that this is a Luo,
Let me keep.
this is a Kalenjin, yes, this is a Kikuyu. As long as our country is tribal, we will not go anywhere.
True.
As long as tribalism still reigns in our heart, leadership will get worse and worse. We have taught our leaders how to manipulate us,
True.
to group us like sheep led to a slaughter. That I can stand and just say, tib him. And if I say that,
Umetingiza Western.
nimetingiza Western Kenya. Tialala.
Another side of Western.
It does not have to make it have meaning.
At all.
That is the kind of leadership we want. And then we are here crying. No, me, I stopped crying. I have made peace.
Ume make peace unakatoa house
No,
living.
this world is not my home.
You're storing up your riches in
yes,
heaven.
as long as we continue being foolish in our electing of leaders, we will never move out of this hole. As a matter of fact, it's getting worse and worse.
Let's see how we do in 2027 because
This was the same issue in Burkina Faso. I think it was called Upper Volta at that time. Burkina Faso had a guy called Thomas Sankara. And Thomas Sankara rose into power through a military coup.
oh,
Yes. The guy was a puppet of the French, of France.
and it's interesting because we are seeing the same thing happening in Niger.
Niger, yes.
Wow.
So Sankara rose into power like that. Sankara was a gem to Burkina Faso. Because number one, he stopped the issue of bowing to the West. He started developing his country. One day, and Mkurugenzi has given this story. By the way, if you watch the story, Mkurugenzi has given...
He's more detailed.
Yes, the Compaore was his friend.
Place.
Yes, one time Sankara was in prison, and Sankara had fought hand in hand with Compaore, who was also a military guy. When he became president, he started reforms that were changing Burkina Faso. One day he used to go to this under the tree gatherings za kisiasa. Wanaongea na wananchi. Bunge la wananchi. And wananchi would ask him questions and he would answer. Do you know that one day he saw someone wearing a United States t-shirt? And he asked this guy, do you mean we as Burkina Faso people cannot be able to make our own t-shirts? Do you know he banned those t-shirts? Or those things from outside? Any government official in Burkina Faso at that time was required to wear local dressing. Sikukuja hapa, we are in this country and our politicians are actually flaunting Gucci's and the likes, flaunting big brands. You mean we cannot make t-shirts in Kenya? We cannot make our own African clothes? Are they that ugly? You see the cap I'm wearing is United States.
Yeah.
Look at it. You see, hatuwezi tengeneza kofia mzuri ya kuanguka nayo. So that is what happened. So now Another thing I noted he did, the politicians and the cabinet ministers were using high-end cars like ours.
Opulence.
A country that does not have money but have people who are spending it properly. It is ironical.
Very ironical.
So he told the guys to stop using, and he changed them from a Mercedes Benz to a Renault. Kagari tu kadudu. And you know, from that Renault, what he used to do? He used to come to those meetings in a bicycle.
Oh.
Yes.
He's leading by
Sankara
example.
was leading by example.
Yeah.
He started attacking the West, like the way this man in Niger is doing. Started attacking the West. And they got very upset with him. France got very upset with him. And they know the law. Who better to approach to stab the back of the president than his best friend, Browse Compaore. And one day, Sankara was seated with some of his cabinet ministers in the presidential palace, and a guy asked a question. They were it was not. They were discussing some policies. He heard shooting from outside, and he knew that his time had come.
Oh, Sankara?
Yes.
Oh.
He knew his time had come. By the way, his bodyguards were shot dead by Compaore. They came to the meeting. He realized that the rest of his guys were going to be... He told them, actually, I'm the one they're coming for. He actually walked out of the door with his hands up. And the soldiers who were there sprayed bullets on him. They sprayed him with bullets and killed him. They took his body and cut it into small pieces and went and buried it in a shallow grave. Not the standard burial, a revolutionarist. They buried him in a shallow grave, and this gentleman, this genius, clap for you.
Compaore.
This genius became the president of Burkina Faso.
Oh no. I hope things did not.
Do you even know where it is in Africa?
I don't even hear of it as much. Yeah.
You know what he did? He took Burkina Faso and gave it back to the French.
So it's like they're being colonized all over.
He literally took it and gave it to them.
Oh no.
And the country became worse.
Useless.
Let me tell you guys, Africa has people with brains. People who can think, people who can reason,
who can set
people who
important policies,
do important things.
Yeah.
Why is it that in this Africa of ours, we have a lot of foreign aid? We have a lot of donations.
Jews, you umesikia.
Yes. And we never get better.
Yeah.
It is a high time to start asking ourselves, are donations a blessings or a curse? Who is to blame? Why is it that there is a lot of donation coming in and
zero work from the government,
and we are becoming more and more poor?
There.
Burkina Faso right now, I don't even know who their president is. I don't even know.
I wonder how their currency
The country was starting to go towards, or was headed towards sustainability. Right? And when this genius took over, for the many years, and he ruled for over 20 years, I think. For the many years this guy ruled. He was just
digging the
grave. He was just a puppet of the West.
No.
And the country went down and down, and it went down to the drain. That is the cost of trusting friends. That is the cost.
And that is so painful.
Of putting friends close to you. You are better off if you are in power, having your enemies as strategic partners. Forget about friendship. I'm not saying that you don't have friends. I do have friends.
Yeah.
But my friends, I can tell you for a fact, my best friend, the one that is rumored is my best friend. Rumor has it. Yes. We see each other at least once a month.
Oh.
We rarely talk.
On phone?
We rarely talk. We rarely have that time. Our friendship is strategic partnership. With that, everyone keeps their distance. It is very difficult to stab someone who is far. Stab them in the back. Stabbing in the back assumes close proximity.
True.
You must be close.
No one can stab you when they're 75 miles
Yes.
away.
So keep them there. The people you keep here should be strategic partners. And you are better off having partners who have everything to gain by being together with you and everything to lose by not being close to you.
Maukweli zinasemwa hapa leo.
I am telling you, you are better off having a friend who has everything to gain by being with you and everything to lose by leaving you, because that will keep them loyal. Because people are not loyal to you. Nobody is loyal to you. People are loyal to their own cause. People are loyal to their feelings. People are loyal to their emotions. People are loyal to their ambition. People are loyal to their lives. Therefore, you want to keep someone close to you who is loyal, and knowing that they are loyal to those things and keeping them strategically. They will protect you with all their lives. That is what Robert Greene means by keeping enemies. They will move the hoops to make sure that you succeed. Yeah. Imagine if we are business partners and we are running a company with you. Would you bring it down?
No.
You can't, because you lose.
Ninafanya job huko.
Yes.
Yeah, I
because you lose. To gain. So even if I'm not around, you not even try to overthrow me.
You'll make sure things are okay.
You will make sure things work.
And the company is thriving.
And the company thrives. Yeah. Because that is the best way to deal with people close to you. Have them have something to gain and something to lose.
Yeah.
But chit chat. Ati tuende tukae chini, we have a good time. A good time talking about what? There is a lot to talk about with friends, catching up. And I do the
global warming.
Global warming. Mnataka kuongea juu global warming.
Let's talk about global warming. Nikikwambia siri zangu utazitumia sana.
Yes. And then we will talk about this law. Watch your words. Watch what you reveal, Tracy. Watch it. Hide or guard your secrets with your life. Your best friend, you're telling them your secrets. Aya.
Asiyefunzwa nitafunzwa na hiyo ulimwengu.
Red pill kama haijakufunza. Kama hujawatch. Usiwatch after Betrayal. There are guys who will bump into this video after the Betrayal.
Wakikuwa na machozi.
And when it is started, I told you, nothing serious.
Yeah.
Hata sisi tukiwa hapa, we are not discussing serious issues. We are not in a serious conversation. Ni jokes.
Ni jokes, ni podcast.
Ni jokes. Vitu za power, nothing serious. It's just jokes.
Yeah. I know maybe there's someone wondering in the Bible if there is an example of
before we go there.
Okay.
There are lessons I got from this betrayal ya Thomas Sankara and Browse. There are 3. One, he says, never assume loyalty based on friendship.
Boy.
Like you're technical.
Nilisema I'd assume they're loyal to me.
Yes. Never assume loyalty based on friendship. Even if a trusted friend can become your biggest threat. Even a trusted friend can become your biggest threat
when power is at stake.
You remember I told you the saying in Vikings, the series, where Ragnar Lothbrok looks at his son and tells him, power is never given, it's taken.
Yeah.
And he says power comes to those people who are willing to bend and pick it up.
Yeah.
So when it comes to friendship, imagine your best friend. You are someone's best friend. You also want power. What will you do? You will bend down and pick it up.
Yeah, you'll sabotage.
And you will stab them in the back if you have to.
I will not concede.
You'll not concede. Number 2, watch for shifting alliances. Sankara failed to see that Compaore was aligning with foreign and domestic forces that opposed his rule. The foreigners were very vocal at opposition. And you can see, if you start seeing your best friend with your worst enemy, unaanza tu kuona they are becoming cozy with each other. red. That is a Chinese flag. It is red. It is so red that if you don't see it, you have a problem. Open your eyes. Buy specs or contact lenses. Easy red flag ya kuignore because your life is at stake.
Yeah.
Friends have poisoned their best friends. Poisoned them.
Yeah.
You've died.
They've prepared your meal and poisoned you.
Yes. Ile prepare a meal before me in the presence of my enemies. Sasa ni huyo ako hapo hiyo meza Mungu anatengeneza ni hao wamekalia hapo. Ni watesi.
Ni marafiki.
Matesi ni mabesti. Watesi ni mabesti.
Oh no.
The third one, enemies can be clearer than friends. I told you. An enemy coming for you, you will see them. You know my example.
Yeah.
My enemies are very predictable. They come very, unawaona ndio huyu mjamaa anakuja. You will never see a friend coming.
Yeah.
And the times I've been stabbed in the back by my friends, I never saw it coming.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it stings.
Yo.
It stings. Inauma. Unalala unazunguka.
Someone does not even sleep.
Unajiongelesha. Unaenda unaoga. Saa 9 usiku unaoga. Utafuta usingizi. Unameza sleeping pills.
Been there.
Yes.
Yeah. You never see it coming.
Enemies can be clearer than friends. Sankara faced external opposition, but the most dangerous enemy was within his own circle. I hope we are learning.
Me, I'm being attacked.
Yeah. I hope we are being attacked.
Yeah.
The purpose of this podcast is to attack you.
Yeah.
So that you stop living in the utopia of friends. Congratulations.
Loyalty.
By the flatters from friends. I don't take them seriously.
Okay. Mimi nimesikia.
One day if someone tells me I've done a good job, one day I ask someone, what part of that job did you like the most?
Nothing. Zero idea.
Kwanza kula mdomo.
Oh!
If you're coming to congratulate me for a job well done,
Kuja
you best know what exactly you're congratulating me for.
Kuja na PowerPoint.
Yes, come na PowerPoint.
Yeah. Good job here.
See more.
Silas. Ni hivyo tumemalizana na hizo notes.
Yes.
We can go to huyu jina mwenye nimeshindwa kusoma and King David, and it's shocking that we're talking about Absalom again. Absalom is appearing in our story. We talked about Absalom.
Yes.
Kwa lesson 1. Lesson 2 tutamuongelea kidogo juu someone huyu
Ahithophel.
Huyo Elias na Absalom.
Absalom was an interesting young man. And this is so sad because it's something that I can never wish to happen to me.
Yeah.
Even my worst enemy. That a time will come when your own son wants to kill you. Now we go to the story of David being killed. Let me give you this story. It's very interesting. It is in 1 Samuel. Let me make sure that I'm right on point. It is in
1 Samuel or 2 Samuel?
2 Samuel, yes. You see? Nimeanza tabia za Ahithophel. 2 Samuel 15,
Yeah.
chapter 15 to chapter 17, it gives the whole story. Now let me tell you who Ahithophel was. Ahithophel was David's most trusted advisor. That's who he was.
Yeah.
David's most trusted advisor. He used to give counsel. And his counsel was so good that David loved him to death.
No homo?
Yes. Excuse ukitumia jina love, you have to be clear.
Yeah.
What are you talking? Are you talking about?
True.
We are clear. So now, when Absalom chased his father and his father was in hiding, you remember I told you Psalm 3 was written when David was in hiding.
Yeah.
When he was in hiding, Ahithophel shifted alliances. Imagine.
From David.
From being David's closest advisor to being Absalom's strategic advisor and military guy.
Yo.
So what happened? Ahithophel betrayed David. He went and gave counsel to Absalom And he told Absalom, I know your father. He is a strong army man. If you must attack him now.
When he's hiding.
Yes, attack him now, attack him decisively. There is another guy who came and said, no. Now, it was backstabbing.
These guys are having even a debate on how to kill
yes,
David.
Yes.
Led
Now,
by his son.
Little did Absalom know that the other advisor was David's spy.
Okay.
Checkmate.
Okay.
The other advisor was David's spy. Just read 1 Samuel 15.
Hata alikuwa ameshift alliances
Yes.
from David
No.
to Absalom. Oh, alikuwa amekuja kuspy.
Alikuja kwa Absalom on behalf of David.
Okay.
David was a military guy.
He's smart. He's a smart
And
man.
spying is a very big part in military strategy. So when Ahithophel gave this advice to David, no, to Absalom, this guy came and told Absalom the contrary, to do the contrary. No, don't attack him now. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. And Absalom had or listened more to this other guy than he did to Ahithophel.
Yeah.
And he decided to do what this other guy had said.
Yeah.
So this other guy went and warned David, Absalom is coming and all this is going to happen. When Ahithophel saw that his counsel had not been followed, he hanged himself.
Ay.
Alijifanya ile kitu, kajinyuria.
Unalive.
Kaji-unalive. He hanged himself.
Oh no.
And he, how he died, that betrayal actually killed him. Verse 9 of chapter 18. When now this other spy had gone and told David about what is going to happen. If you go to verse 5, and the king ordered Joab and Abishai and Ittai was the guy.
Ittai is the spy.
Yes. Deal gently for my sake with the young man Absalom. David was still a father to Absalom. And all the people heard when the king gave orders to all the commanders about Absalom. Verse 9. And Absalom happened to meet the servants of David. Absalom was riding on his mule. And the mule went under the thick branches of the great oak. And his head caught fast in the oak. And he was suspended between the heaven and the earth, while the mule that was under him went on. And a certain man saw it and told Joab, Behold, I saw Absalom hanging in an oak. Joab said to the man who told him, What? You saw him? Why then did you not strike him there to the ground? I would have been glad to give you 10 pieces of silver and a belt. But the man said to Joab, Even if I felt in my hand the weight of 1,000 pieces of silver, I would not reach out my hand against the king's son. For in our hearing the king commanded you and Abishai and Ittai, for my sake protect the young man. Verse 14, Joab said, I will not waste time like this with you. And he took 3 javelins in his hand and thrust them into the heart of Absalom, while he was still alive in the oak. And 10 young men, Joab's armor bearers, surrounded Absalom and struck him and killed him. They were not sparing him. Remember last time I told you, if you aim at the king, make sure you don't miss.
Yeah.
You miss when your king is the target. By king, I'm using your leader, the person in authority. When they are the target,
Have a clear shot.
Don't shoot unless you will kill him. Unless you will hit him at the first time. David mourned a lot about. In fact, there is a prayer he offered to God and told God, turn the counsel of what is this man Ahithophel into wickedness. Like turn his counsel into foolishness. And actually God did that. And that's why this guy hung himself.
Yeah.
Because he knew David. He knew that if Absalom doesn't attack David now,
He will not.
David is going to finish him.
Yeah.
So I might as well finish myself before David does that.
Yeah.
But look at what the betrayal, it happened in the hands of who? David, most trusted advisor. Trust is good, but you cannot trust people. Don't even trust yourself, the Bible advises you.
Yeah.
Don't even trust yourself. Don't trust people. Curse is the man who puts his hope in another man. Do not. When you're living this world, stay dangerous. Stay dangerous. Learn to listen. Be observant. Have a keen interest on people.
Yeah.
Do not have expectations. The only thing that brings about disappointment in life is the expectations we create. The expectations we create of ourselves and of other people. Lower your expectation when it comes to friends. Lower it to the ground.
Yeah.
If the ground had rock bottom and rock bottom had a basement,
Let's go.
peleka expectations zako kwa basement ya rock bottom. Unajua hapo basement ya rock bottom is just kidogo tu, ukienda chini ni hell. Ukiteremka chini kidogo ni hell.
Yeah.
But lower your expectations. When you lower your expectations about people, you never get disappointed.
Yeah.
When they behave as the way they are naturally
as humans.
inclined to behave. Yes. Expect humans to be humans. Humans are conniving. Humans are power hungry. Humans are backstabbers. And by humans, I'm not removing myself from that. Equation. Also treat me with suspicion. Treat me the same way I'm telling you to treat others. Because we have our own. I am loyal to myself. I'm loyal to myself. I might follow you. And the more I cannot tell you the truth, the more I hate you.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I know that the truth I will tell you has consequences.
Yeah.
Can strain our friendship. And especially if there is something I want from you. Yeah. Do you bother so much with people you have nothing you're getting from them? You only bother with the people who are giving you something.
Yeah.
What do you gain from the relationship? Even when you're applying for a job, don't be cheated. This is my passion. It might be your passion, but you're there because of what you're gaining. You're there because of what you're gaining. Even in relationships, I can tell you the truth. Even in marriage, even in relationships, you are there because you are gaining something. There is something you're gaining. Usiwahi sema ati hata sijui kwa nini niko naye. Unajua. Wewe wacha kutudanganya. Unajua. You know why you are with them. There is some value. Some could be they have nothing, but they're only getting rid of your loneliness. Yeah. You just have FOMO, fear of missing out. And this person is fun. Do you think people love you for who you are? Tracy, I can tell you, it is only God who loves you for who you are. And that's why he died on the cross for your sin. It's only God who loves you for who you are. Nobody loves you for... People love you for what you can give them.
For what I bring.
The less you can give, the less people will love you.
Wow.
I am telling you the truth. Who bothers about the beggar in town? Who bothers about them? Who all of a sudden is very interested in becoming a beggar's friend? Is there? But people want to be friends of the governor, the president.
Twins the two MCA.
MCA. Why?
They have something.
Interest.
Yeah.
And it is not a bad thing. It is human nature. Yeah. There is nothing like unconditional love. Today, you put a husband and a wife, and there is a crisis. The husband will choose himself. The wife will choose herself. Because that is how human beings are.
Yeah.
We are sinners. And we have to expect that. When we expect that, Tracy, you will never be disappointed in life. You will feel bad. I'm not saying that the bad feeling will be taken away. You'll feel bad. Oh, this guy betrayed me.
Yeah.
But disappointment, like how Caesar was disappointed, and he asked, even you, Brutus, hata wewe. You'll never ask that question. You'll never sit down and say, I can't believe this.
I don't believe it.
Me, when I am stabbed in the back, inauma. Anyway, inaniumanga. Inaniuma.
Inauma.
Watu ambao wamenistab in the back inaniuma. Imeniuma. But I expect it.
Yeah.
expect it. I have learned how to say it's okay. It's okay.
Ni sawa.
Ni sawa. Anyone who becomes loyal to me, I accept.
Yeah.
Anyone who becomes disloyal, I expect.
It's also okay.
As a matter of fact, I expect more disloyalty than loyalty. I expect it. To say that we are Christians, and you see now we have Christians who live in the ideal world where they don't think that happens. I told you politics ya kanisa is worse than hii ya TB mnatia lala. It is worse than afadhali TB mnatia lala. See, I'm telling you, enemies, you will see them.
Yeah.
Unakumbuka the time our president just stood up, said huyu ni mogoroki. Huyu mwingine akasimama akasema huyu anakunywanga pombe na anavuta bangi. Huyu wakaitana mganga.
Yeah.
Huyu wakaitana ati anajifanya ni wa kanisa. Those guys at the end of the day watch those things and just laugh. Na Uhuru alisema wanapigiananga simu anaambiana jamaa unakuja sana. Leo umekuja sana. Their kids go in the same school.
Yeah.
In church, it is hidden. I'm telling you, Tracy, you can sit with a person who hates your guts. Like if they had a gun and there was nothing like murder, you'd be the first one to go. You'd be the first one to go. More often than not, it's usually your best friend. Ini chai. More often than not, that person is usually your best friend. Keep your friends close.
And your enemies.
And your enemies closer.
Yeah.
Choose what to reveal. We'll talk about your mouth. Choose what to reveal. There are things that are best kept in the closet.
Yeah.
They are best like that. Don't give people things they can use against you. Because they will use it when the time is right. You see these soulmates who walk into the sunset and they lived happily ever after as Snow White and the sijui nini. That does not exist in this world. Why do you think divorce rate is where it is? These guys want... Have you ever seen people who want to kill each other? We see it. Social media, sinikwambia kuna vipindi. Simona vipindi za social media za husband na wife wakiachana.
Yeah.
Do you know at one point in time these guys loved each other?
To death.
To death. Love is convenience.
Yeah.
The only person who loves us unconditionally is God.
Yeah.
Love is convenience. People, and learn to know that. People love you only as much as they can gain value from you. You stop being valuable, you become disposable. That is why even in chess we have pawns, we have bishops, we have knight, we have a king. The most disposable ones are the pawns. Unaweza peana pawn ndio ukule queen yake. Why? Because pawn is disposable. A man or a woman without value is highly disposable. And I'm actually specifically men. You know, women have inherent value. A woman's value is her sexuality, by the way. They have inherent... Women are born with value.
Yeah.
For men, disposable genes.
You have to build it.
You have to build it. So, build it. Practice aloneness. Aloneness is very good.
Yeah.
Practice aloneness.
And have more enemies.
Be comfortable in your own skin. Be comfortable in your own company.
Yeah.
When you're comfortable in your own company, it does not matter what happens outside. You must have you surround yourself with an air of nonchalance.
Nonchalant.
Yes. Where you are not bothered so much.
The outside noise.
There are people who their friend is their world. Those people get into depression when they are stabbed in the back. Okay. Am I hitting a nerve? Ninaguza hapo. Ninaguza hapo kakidonda. Don't.
I plead the fifth.
Don't make a human being
You're everything.
your world. You're everything. That space is reserved for God. God must be everything.
True.
Everyone must be nothing. God must be everything. Everyone must be nothing. If everyone is nothing and God is everything, you will have everything.
True.
Yes.
True.
Did you see Jesus Christ surprised that Judas
Oh,
had
no, he was
at oh
not.
Judas, me.
Oh, bestie. Oh,
No.
my friend. Oh, no.
Nimuuliza, is it with a kiss that you betray the Son of Man?
He expected it.
Yeah.
He expected it.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you think Jesus didn't expect Peter to deny him? Unajua Peter alikuwa by the way before Christ
Mi
dies.
simjui.
Peter alikuwa I am going with you to the cross. No, he actually vowed to go with him to the cross. Vowed tutaenda na wewe
Ni
kwa
mimi
cross.
na wewe hadi mwisho.
Ile ingine mimi hakuna, si mimi simjui.
Simjui hata sijaimuona.
Si mimi.
Hata sijaimuona.
Yeah. So that's a law number 2. Don't put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use
Your enemies.
your enemies.
And it's very practical. It's very right there. There are so many stories of people who have been betrayed, and it's one of those rules, that one of those laws that it's a red pill that you don't know. You just don't know. When it comes to friendships, it's very, 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 very complicated. But anyway, leo tumekatakatwa, tumechongwa, tumeambiwa ukweli. But that's it from Lotu. The many truths and the many stabbings that we've gotten today. I hope you've learned something. I have been attacked properly. Nimeshautiwa. I am ready for this week to end. Actually, for the year to end. Sina mabeshte. I'm lying. But you've been told to keep your enemies closer. Do not go looking for trouble, but just keep your enemies closer. They're the least people who are going to harm you. Okay, let's wrap this up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for getting to this point. Let's see you again when we discuss another law next week. Might not be law 3, but let's see. It's going to be a surprise. So stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Bye.